Joining us now on the anchor desk, former federal prosecutor and founder of Freedom Watch, Larry Klayman. Larry, thanks so much for joining us here on America Talks Live in the flesh.
Here I am.
Yeah, nice to meet you in person. Okay, so as you know, big news day to say the least. So today, the Senate confirmed Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court earlier today, 54 to 45 vote, and it marks the end of what has been a very partisan battle going on. Democrats being very upset that Merrick Garland never even got a hearing, so they did this filibuster, and then, of course, Mitch McConnell had to trigger that nuclear option in order to make this happen. Just your reaction to what has transpired this week when it comes to Neil Gorsuch.
Well, I think it's a very good thing because, again, the Republicans were able for the first time in many, many years to assert themselves. I think most Americans would also agree that things should happen in the Senate by majority vote, not by a so-called filibuster where you have to have 60 votes. And maybe things will move along better now that there's a precedent that the Republicans are willing to stand up to the Democrats and basically ram this thing through.
So you think they should get rid of, because they changed, obviously, the Senate rule in order to make this happen, where they only needed 51 votes instead of 60 votes. So you think that should be something that should be permanent? I
think it should be permanent. It's the only way things are going to happen in the Senate. You know, I was just up to Washington last week. I was going into the Senate Intel Committee and other committees, Senate Judiciary Committee, also in the House. And the image that you have, and I'm a veteran of Washington of over 20 years. I started Judicial Watch and now Freedom Watch.
Right.
These senators are so much into themselves. They prance around in these very fancy suits and ties and cufflinks. And
didn't you want to run? Didn't you run for Senate?
I did.
Yeah, I did. I'm just saying.
Maybe it was God's gift that I didn't win.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm probably not suited for that. I'm probably better on the outside, as I am with Freedom Watch today.
Right.
But they just simply don't listen to the American people, and they're so much into their own environment there that they think they can filibuster something when the American people want something because it doesn't suit their ends. And now, of course, they can, at least with regard to Supreme Court justices. So I think it's a good thing that they broke that, and it's a good thing for Mitch McConnell to show some strength up there because they haven't shown it for the last 8 years with Obama. They basically rolled over to him.
Well, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell did not. Here he is moments before the vote to confirm Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. Here you have it.
In the end, we restored to this body a tradition Democrats first upset in 2003 by using a tool Democrats first employed in 2013. As a result, we'll move to the confirmation of Judge Gorsuch shortly. He's going to make an incredible addition to the court.
So there you have Mitch McConnell. Some people, you know, didn't think he was going to actually do this. Some people were concerned about the political ramifications of this. Obviously, you support changing this and keeping it as a permanent rule. Were you surprised that he did it?
No, not under the current circumstances. I think they had to do it. After the failure of health care and everything else, the people's image of the Republican Party was very, very low in terms of doing something. But I think what they were trying to do behind the scenes, the Democrats, is they were trying to get a commitment, if they didn't go to this nuclear option, where they would actually vote on Gorsuch, that the next judge, the next Supreme Court justice, would be a very moderate justice or some other compromise. And McConnell held his ground, and I admire him for that. I haven't always liked McConnell, but I'm starting to have a more positive view.
Are there any dangers, though, to this? I know you say you want to make it permanent, but remember, the Democrats could be in charge at some point, too. Are you still for it?
Well, the country's in such bad shape right now. I think we've got to
So you could change your mind, though, if the Democrats were...
You know, when I was a kid, there was a song by Janis Joplin. Yeah. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. Freedom ain't worth nothing, but it's free.
Yeah.
That's where we are right now. We have nothing to lose because, frankly, Congress has ground to a halt. The executive branch is now being surveyed by intelligence agencies that are highly manipulative. And we've got a judicial branch which is packed with a lot of leftist judges and other types of judges, even conservative, that rule on the basis of their political beliefs and not on the basis of the law. So it's about time that somebody stood for principle, and I think McConnell did here, and the Republicans get the credit for that.
In the time that we have remaining, I want to talk about your organization, Freedom Watch, and the House ethics, easier for me to say, complaint that you filed against Congressman Adam Schiff. Tell us about that a little bit. Adam Schiff has been in the news a lot lately. He's on the House Intelligence Committee, along with Chairman Devin Nunes, who we all know recused himself from the House Intelligence Committee's investigation into alleged ties between Trump's campaign and Russia. But that was a big development this week. Why did you file this complaint?
Well, I filed it because somebody has to do something. The House Intel Committee, as the Senate Intel Committee, is highly politicized. Adam Schiff, I don't know if people realize this, we saw some clips from Hollywood leading in here, but he's the congressman from Hollywood and West Hollywood. He's very far left. And he basically wants to throw a monkey wrench into any investigation of the illegal surveillance of the intelligence industries, intelligence agencies. And I've been very active with that. We got 2 rulings by a federal court judge that that's unconstitutional and that likely Trump is involved. We have a whistleblower. And we needed to break the impasse. So what we said in our complaint, and you can find it at freedomwatchusa.org if people want to read it, is he's obstructing justice. And he has an oath of office to carry out the law of the land. He hasn't done that. And that's the reason for the complaint.
So wait, I just wanted to backtrack a little bit. You said Trump involved. You mean the president, the former president, right? Is that what you were referring to?
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
I misspoke.
I know. I just wanted to make sure I
Right.
clarified that, but that's what you
Right.
meant by that. Correct.
Got Trump on my mind.
Yeah, I know. No, I can understand that. Okay, and we have about, that's all the time we have, unfortunately.
Well,
there was so
thanks
much more
for
I wanted to
inviting me.
ask you. Time is just flying by today. I hope you'll come back on the show again.
Love to. Thanks.
All right, thanks. When we return, still a lot more to discuss here. We're going to have John Bachman, our very own John Bachman, is going to have a special interview, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. You're watching America Talks Live. We'll be right back.